Hi, this is Ricky with Freedom Plumbers and Pumpers, Septic and Drain, coming to you for a septic inspection on a property in Woodbridge, Virginia. We went ahead and inspected multiple items based off of a real estate transaction contingency. They wanted for us to inspect 1, the septic tank, 2, the distribution box or boxes, and the field or components connected to those boxes. So the first thing we're going to start with is the layout of the property. That's the main road with a long driveway up to the garage. Here's your house, connector or expansion or bump out into garage. Right in front of the garage, we have septic tank right here, pump chamber right here, and the line goes this way under that tree up to the machine where you have 2 boxes. One is a surge box and the second one is the distribution box. We'll talk about that later. The first thing we're going to talk about is the septic inspection. For the septic inspection, we have to expose both sides of the septic tank, inlet and outlet. Unfortunately, outlet had to be exposed via excavator. So you can see there's the soil. In order to be able to expose that item right there, which is called the outlet baffle. That particular baffle is one of the most important parts of your septic tank. On the inlet side, which has a concrete riser, we have the inlet baffle. For this inspection, we did multiple items. One was a flow test. Flow test means running water from the house for approximately 10 minutes, watching that water enter the tank, and on the other side, on the outlet, exit the tank at the same exact rate. No elevation in liquid inside of that septic tank. If no elevation higher than what is predetermined to be happens, that means that the septic tank water push or the what we call oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart right now. Retention time is doing great and there's no backups within the septic system. And in those 10 minutes, we did good. Next thing we inspected by a sewer camera, the pipe coming from the house into the septic tank and the pipe going from the septic tank to the pump chamber right there. And this is what we found. On the septic tank inlet, when we were doing the water flow test for 10 minutes, we started hearing bubbles, or not bubbles, more like burps. Okay, those burps are similar to hydraulic lock, meaning that the pipe is starving for air. So that could happen for multiple reasons. It's either A, ventilation issue, or B, a possible belly in the line. A belly means that the pipe is not perfectly graded towards the septic tank, and it actually holds water in the pipe at such a rate, almost 100%, that whatever's on the other side of the belly is actually not getting proper ventilation. So then the pipe searches for air by causing these bubbles or burps, if you want to put it that way. We went ahead and sent in a camera into that pipe up towards the house, approximately 30 plus feet. And what we found was, unfortunately, 2 bellies. One belly was 5 foot long in a pipe made out of PVC, and the other belly was approximately 15 foot long from the inlet upwards. So the pipe, before it enters into the septic tank or connects to the septic tank, that's the biggest belly, has a pretty big belly, about 15 foot long, meaning the pipe goes like this. Okay, and the pipe is actually holding near 100% water retention inside of that pipe. That's why when the pipe goes down and comes back out, and then this part of the pipe actually has air in it, that air is not being properly ventilated, so it causes the whole thing to burp. Okay, issues with bellies is that bellies do tend to hold solids, specifically non-biodegradables. Non-biodegradables are in the form of paper towels, hand wipes, very thick toilet paper like Charmin Ultra, feminine products, and things that don't break down with water. Grease accumulation also tends to happen in these bellies. Unfortunately, that is a severe defect in the sewer line. The sewer line is flowing at this time, but it is defective. Moving on to the septic tank outlet. Septic tank outlet from here to the pump chamber inlet is also made out of PVC and is doing just fine. Nothing special to be reported. It's all looking good. Next thing we inspected was the baffles. That PVC baffle, that white pipe, inspected the entire system, made sure that the glue was solid, looked for the penetration point through the concrete. It looks really good. There's no cracks, no breaks, no root intrusion, or anything that shows compromised. Next thing we inspected the top of the tank, as well as the walls and the floor and all the areas that we can see. There's absolutely no signs of distress, no cracks, no breaks, no root intrusions. That septic tank is solid and thick, does not look compromised. When it comes to the septic tank lid has deterioration due to many years of obviously use. It does have a missing handle. It does seal properly to the septic tank, but we were barely able to remove it today due to the lack of a handle and it sitting too deep in to the riser, the access itself. Now again, this is not being utilized. Thankfully, whoever installed this installed a concrete riser. That is awesome. It would have been nice if we would have had a concrete riser on the outlet side, because this outlet side is the one that requires the most attention during maintenance and inspections. For example, a septic tank should have a filter. This one doesn't have that filter. That filter is designed to retain suspended solids or sludges if they try to make it out of the septic tank and in to the pump chamber. It also stops solids like non-biodegradables if they try to make it out of the septic tank and hurt your pump. Okay, this filter gets cleaned no less than 1 time per year from a riser that would be right here, where a pumper like myself or any septic company or even the homeowners themselves can reach down into the riser, pull out the filter, wash it all down 1 time per year. You're going to see all of the fun stuff that are in there, and then drop it back into that filter. Since this one doesn't have a riser, the installation of that filter is not possible. So in the future, it is not required, but it is recommended for regular inspection, maintenance, and possible repair to have a riser on this side as well. Okay, so that concludes the outlet side of the septic tank. When it comes to the inlet side of the septic tank, this riser was thoroughly inspected. It does have some wear and tear on the lips, as well as on the concrete tank cover itself, but that wear and tear is not out of the ordinary or compromised. The risers, the top of the tank, the walls and floor, as well as a pillar that's inside of this tank. There's actually a pillar in the middle right here to hold up the cover of the tank. All of it was inspected. It looks great. No cracks, no breaks, no root intrusions, nothing that is showing a compromised tank. So this is all looking good. Okay, that concludes the inspection of this tank. Now, things to be noted on the pump chamber itself. Pump chamber, even though not in the contingency for inspection, did get a little bit of a look-see. And what we have here is that we have some items here that are worn down to a point where it's a little bit lower. Unfortunately, those types of items don't allow for this lid, which is severely deteriorated, as you can see right there, to seal properly, and that may actually cause odors in the summer due to not properly sealing. When it comes to this wiring box, the wiring box it passes inspection. It has no damages. It doesn't show any water damage at all. Any future installations or if any upgrades can take place, the riser box or the wiring box gets elevated about 12 to 24 inches so it stays above the ground. That way it doesn't get water damage or lawnmower damage. When it comes to this pump chamber itself, the old wiring, not sure if it's still hot or not, but it's right there. As you can see, some sparks took place. Hopefully that circuit is broken now. Hopefully it's no longer functioning. The new wiring was installed beautifully and nice and tight all the way down into the chamber itself. We do have a nice pump, and the pump did do a couple pump outs while I was here with a 2-inch discharge line shooting straight up. The only thing that this system is actually missing is a control panel inside the house with an alarm panel. There's only one float in there. But again, everything I got to see inside this pump chamber was, aside from here and there, and not having the floats necessary for an alarm panel, everything else looked good. The pump worked great, and I didn't see anything that would cause this tank to be deemed compromised. So there goes that. That was just a little bonus on the inspection.